Well, hello again. This is going to be another update on the 1960s Batmobile comic book version. Bring that there. But I was actually going to try to make this a finale, but I figured I'd throw one more in there of some of the progress I did before we do the finale on another video. But I'll show you what kind of progress I made. Basically, I've been concentrating on the figurines of the kit of Batman and Robin, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Right now, I want to kind of show you what we've done here with the car itself of the Batmobile. Since I've pretty much got most of it together right now. Hopefully, this is in the camera shot. But anyways, what I ended up doing was in the bucket area of the for the vehicle, the instructions are saying to line up the holes with the locator pins on the chassis. Well, when I tried doing that, of course it was sitting on top of the pins, but it wouldn't, seat correctly. So I actually had to hone down the actually holes a little bit with my hobby knife so that it would seat correctly in there. So that was the first task I had to do. The second thing that I had to do as far as laying the body of the car over the chassis, since I haven't done the car in quite a while, proper steps, I actually tried to fit this over the bucket itself first and try to do the rear and the front and try to attach that. Well, that didn't work. So I tried a couple other things, and I finally figured out when I pulled the body back out that the underside of the rear actually has two protruding notches that actually fit in a slot in the chassis, because it has to go between that and the chrome tail pipes. So what I ended up doing was actually going on a kind of 30-degree angle and slide the back end of the body into the back end of the chassis, and then slowly lower the body down, and of course hold it out a little bit and seat the thing over the bucket. But when I got to the front, of course, I'll turn this over. This part of it was still sitting on the outside, so I had to figure out how to insert this in between the two areas here, which I did eventually because it was sitting too high, and I finally figured that out after about another 2 or 3 attempts, and the light bulb went off. So it took me about 30 minutes or so to figure all that out. So it's now seated in there correctly, and looks good. I'll kind of face this right here for right now. Of course, I've had this in the box for quite a while, and sometimes the decals, this only basically had one decal, which is for the hood of the car, and the black bat face. And what I did was I actually used, I clear coated everything first, and then I basically took some of the Microsol setting solution and brushed it on the hood and part of the front bumper there, and then I, of course, applied the decal, and then I applied the setting solution for the Microsol again, and just kind of brushed it over and let it sit so it kind of looked like a painted on feature. Well, with all the handling I was doing with the decal setting in place, it actually tore a little bit of the decal off the black part. So basically, for me to kind of patch it up a little bit, I used some of the Tamiya gloss black and actually kind of repainted over the decal itself, and then I applied some clear coat on top of that to kind of seal it in place. So that was like another thing I had to kind of contend with on the model. But as you can see, I've installed the headlights and the two orange lenses in the front, So that's all taken care of. On the actual beacon light, this actually came as a solid red, transparent molded, light. So what I ended up doing was take some of the Sharpie, kind of cheated a little bit, and use the Sharpie permanent marker metallic silver, and I painstakingly went and actually highlighted where the chrome would be on the light. So I think that turned out pretty good on that. So that was taken care of. As far as the, kind of move this off the side a little bit, as far as the canopy lenses, there's only 2 of them on the front on either side. I basically took them and I actually poured some Future 4 polish on it. I have it sitting right here, covered right now to kind of keep the dust off of the canopies, but that came out real nice and clear. It's clean, you can see right through it. And I did highlight the chrome areas again with the Sharpie metallic silver, and carefully went around the perimeter of that. So right now, until it gets glued, I'm kind of just setting it off here to the side and putting the little cover on there to keep the dust off of that. So there you go. I don't know, on the previous video I had, I was telling you about, maybe I was telling you about the rear exhaust pipes. They didn't have like a locator pin on the end of it. It was pretty much flat. And of course, when I tried to apply the chrome fittings on there, that was flat as well. Just applying the CA glue didn't give it too much support. So what I ended up doing was actually taking my pin vise and actually boring a hole with a small drill, and bored a hole in between the 2 rear exhaust pipes. And then I actually took some soldering wire and I actually cut a little bit off, and I actually inserted it into the bored out hole with some CA glue, let that sit overnight, and then the next day I applied the chrome tail lights to give it the finished touch. And that worked out really well. Gave it just enough support to hold it in place. So that little problem was solved. So there you have it. That's kind of what I've done with the basic model of the body of the car and the chassis to get it all prepped and ready to go. In the meantime, after that was done, what I talked about in the other video was Robin. I'll take him out of this little container right here. Also used to kind of keep the dust off. I go through a lot of these Jello pudding cups. They're good for holding, to me, a thinner, and also for holding little figures in place so that the dust does not get on them. But moving on here, if you recall, I have 1/2 of Robin's head missing in my kit, and thanks to my good friend Classic Plastic 101, he sent me a link to get some epoxy sculpt. So I had to wait to get that in the mail. It did arrive, and I followed the directions 50-50. Here's the A and B. Mixed a little bit of batch to it and molded his head so that it looks relatively anatomically correct. And I took my hobby knife and I kind of made little hair grooves in it just to kind of give a little bit of realism. So there you go. So I thank you, Classic Plastic, for showing me that link, and we're good to go. Each of these figures, I've actually painstakingly airbrushed a lot of these with the Tamiya red. These were kind of like the colors I here on the for Robin, the basic yellow, red, black for his hair and mask, and a Tamiya Park green for his his gloves and his boots and his sleeves. As you can see here, I've went ahead and sprayed that with some airbrush and just, you know, masking every day and just let it cure for 24 hours and then coming back and masking another part. His cape is actually a flat yellow, and in the future when I get all this together, because right now it's in sub-assemblies right now, but once I get everything in the final paint mode, I'll go ahead and glue his arms on, and what I'm going to end up doing is actually dipping this or pouring some future floor polish on to give that nice kind of gloss clear coat on it, kind of for protection. So that's for Robin there. So let's we'll put him off to the side right here, and his arms, and put those back underneath the cup there. Now with Batman here, he's pretty much done. And like I said, I actually poured some future clear coat on him, so it gave a nice gloss finish on him. Of course, I used the Tamiya Sky Blue for his cowl, cape, and boots and gloves, and his pants, and then like the flat yellow for his belt, and actually for his bat logo on his chest there, I actually just used, I kind of cheated with that too. I just used the Sharpie permanent marker, black, and just went underneath the my light there and my magnifying lens and gave it a little nice little bat and kept it within the lines. So like I said, he's pretty well done there. And as far as the instructions are saying that I guess you're supposed to put him into the driver's seat with the steering wheel. Again, I got the steering wheel right here, you know, and I used the Sharpie marking pen again as well for the metallic silver for inside some of the wheel covers and the bat logo on there. So I guess I'm supposed to kind of basically put him in there along with the steering wheel, and they'll be done. Like I said, this is pretty much 99% done. It's just a matter of, you know, getting the parts in for Robin's head, and now just the final stages of the you know, the painting part. And like I said, I don't always go with all, not, you know, 100% to me either. Basically for like his gray part of his uniform, I actually used some Apple Barrel Country Gray from Michaels. So that's, I kind of just used that. And I actually brushed that on with a regular paintbrush. And went through probably a couple of coats there. I just thinned it out a little bit and just so that there wouldn't be any brush strokes on there. And like I said, after everything was said and done, then I did the final dipping of the future on there. So as far as, you know, like I said, flesh colors, I used some folk art. This is like a light flesh color. So like I said, I'm not particular 100% of all my models on Tamiya. I do go with other craft type of print paints. So anyways, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. Like I said, I'm 99% done with this build. And like I said, next couple of days I'll put everything together and basically just do a final video of showing the complete version of this kit, and we'll go from there. So like I said, we'll just kind of put this back in the center here, and until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video for the final. So see ya, have a good day, and thanks for watching. Bye.